So eddagala okubeera wala kitukosa nnyo. Nti oluusi ofuna obulumi, wandibadde ofuna eddagala mu budde naye nga ssente teziriiwo. Kitegeeza buli wobeera mu bulumi oba oyongera kwonooneka. Eri munda ennyama ziba zoyongera kwonooneka. Kuba mubeeramu omuliro ogufumba ennyama ezo ne zitandika okwonooneka. So eddagala okubeera wala kituluma era kitukosa nnyo. Era endala challenge gye nsanze nti abantu tebasobola kutegeera ky'obagamba. Nti yadde omuntu omunyonyodde nti ndina obulwadde bwe buti, tekimutwalira akadde okutegeera nti kyoyogera kituufu. Abasinga tebabumanyi era tebabuwulirangako. Ekyo nakyo kizibu. Ate n'amalwaliro agasinga ge tuyina eno nago tegamanyi. Kuba nze mu kusooka na Dr. Dungu yali ku TV, yali TV ya Bukedde ng'asomesa ku bulwadde bwa HAEMOPHILIA. Kati kusinziira nga bwe yanyonnyola ne ndaba obulwadde nga buyinza okuba nga bwe bumu bwe ndina. Nawandiika enamba y'essimu n'obulwadde naye akatabo ekyasinga okuntawaanya akapapala kwe nali mpandiise ne kabula. Kati ne ngenda Kirudu ne mbagamba ndowooza ndina obulwadde bwa HAEMOPHILIA, musobola okunkebera? Bagamba tugenda kukebera. Ne bakola testing clotting oba bagiyita clotting time ne bagamba tolina bulwadde. Naye ng'oli nga bwe yayanyonnyola nga ndabira ddala yulaba obulwadde obundumu. So n'amalwaliro agasinga yadde abasawo gye bali naye tebabumanyi. Okwo nakwo kusoomoozebwa kunene. Nsooka kwebaza Madamu Agnes kubanga yambeereddeko nnyo nga bw'okiwulira. Buli we mukubira essimu, buli we mugamba kino, buli we mugamba kiri, afaayo nnyo okulaba nti anyambe nnyo. N'abasawo abalala, n'abasawo be nasanga mu ddwaliro Mulago gye bandongooseza. Era abasinga ngenda nga mbeerabira naye waliyo Namatovu, waliyo omulala bamuyitanga Looyi n'abalala. Banfaako nnyo nga ekiseera ekyo omusaayi nga gutonya. Basobola okunyamba ne bambeererako. Era buli kaseera baajanga ne bandaba, ne bankwatako, ne bankyusa buli kimu kubanga nali nzeeka mu ddwaliro. So abasawo abo bambeerera. N'abalala bangi, baalimu bangi naye amanya ngenda ngeerabira. Naye baalimu bangi. Bannange nsiima nnyo era neeyanziza neeyanzeege. HAEMOPHILIA Foundation Uganda bakoze omulimu munene ku bulamu bwange. Kubanga banzizamu essuubi ly'okuba nti nsobola okubeera n'obulamu. Era mbeebaza, bayambye abantu bangi nange nga mwendi. Mbeebaza nnyo omulimu gye bakola. Era Katonda yasobola osasula emirimu gyabwe. Ffe ng'abantu tetusobola agisasula. Neebaza nnyo Dr. Barnabas. Dr. Barnabas bwe namutuukako Embarara, nali sisobola kugenda Mbarara ate nzire eno, nzire eri nfuno eddagala ate nzire eno. Kubanga 2.5 gya buli lunaku nandigijeewo. Ninjogera naye n'asobola okumpawo okusula nga nfuna eddagala kumpi, nengenda nensula mu ddwaliro, nengenda ku ddwaliro nenfuna eddagala bwentyo. Kyanyambako nnyo. Era buli we ndowooza nti Barnabas gy'ali ng'amanya ekyo kiwedde. Era naye mwebaza ku lw'emirimu gy'akoze.
Ennaku z'omwezi nga 17 omwezi guno ng'engeri emu ey'okumanyisa abantu nti obulwadde buno gye buli, Uganda yegatta ku nsi yonna okukuza olunaku lwa International HAEMOPHILIA Day, era nga emikolo emikulu gyali ntuŋŋamo, ng'emikolo gyatandika n'okukumba wamu n'okugaba omusaayi. Dr. Diana Atwine y'omu ku beetabye ku mikolo gino egy'okujjukira olunaku lw'obulamu buno, nga mu kwogera kwe yasabye abantu okwongera okumanyisa abantu ku bulwadde buno obwa HAEMOPHILIA ekigongobaza abantu mu kasirise.
Hemophilia is a hereditary disease. It is found 1 in 10,000 people, you'll get one person with hemophilia. Hemophilia is a blood disorder, where you get blood, one component of blood clotting factors. You know, the clotting process is a whole process. You can study the whole day. I can describe the process of clotting from morning up to evening. But I'm not going to do that because it's more complicated. But in the process of clotting, it's like how you have the console here, okay? The console, you have the head, the chair, you have the speaker, you have the secretary for social services, you have the one for agriculture, you have the one for whatever, you have the one for works. Now each one has a role to play, so that when you come together as a council, each one contributes to what their role is. Now in the process of clotting, the fibrin, the body brings the fibers. We have also other elements, other nutrients in the body. We have the special protein that come and causes the bridges in the formation of this wire mesh. The blood is a wire, you know, like it forms that fibrin, and it is assisted by a protein called fibrinogen. So in that process, there are factors that help blood and the fibers to intercross. And when they intercross, it forms a wire mesh, like a net. And when it forms a net, then blood stops. Now, one of the important factors in there are three very, very important factors that without them, even when you have the fibers in your body, in the blood, it cannot hold. One of them is factor 8. Another one is factor 9. Another one is very, very important but normally ignored, vitamin K. Vitamin K. So now these factors, what happens is that the body makes an error. Now, in the process of the formation, as you are being created, on the chromosome, on one of the chromosomes, it is a genetic thing. Okay, let me not go there. I think that I'm going to cause issues now. But on one of the genes, it makes an error and it mutates, it changes, and you get a disorder of that chromosome or that gene that makes those factors. So we have two types of hemophilia. We have what we call hemophilia A and we have hemophilia B. Okay? Now, the commonest and the most severe is hemophilia A, where you lack factor A, and I mean factor 8. Now, hemophilia B is when you lack factor 9. Now, you find that the majority of the people, when they come to us, or the children, and I want to say that hemophilias, the majority of the people, or let me say 90% of the hemophilias are boys. It tends to be in boys than girls because of the gene, the particular gene, because you will get very, very, very rare to get a girl who is hemophilia, because if that means that the mother was a carrier and then the father was a hemophilia, then they get together, then that's when you get a full-blown hemophilia girl. But because somehow the carrier, you can be a hemophilia carrier and you don't have any symptom. It's like a sickle cell. You can be a sickle cell carrier, but you don't have any symptom. But when you marry another carrier, and then when you are producing children, you contribute to the carrier, the man contributes to the carrier, you form a sickler. That's how people get sickle cell disease. But you can remain a carrier, even a hemophilia carrier, and you don't have any symptom. But should you marry another person, or should you have a boy, your part of the gene from the mother or the father, it can cross to the baby, and that gene causes the body not to make those factors. So you get that disorder, the blood disorder. How does it present? It presents, as you heard Professor Ndezi here was talking about deformities in the joints. The hemophilia, I think about 70% of the people, they will come with severe disease. Some, maybe 15%, they will have mild. And mild meaning, okay, the severe disease we are talking about, someone will come with severe bleeding. The joints, the knees, the ankles, the elbows, every part of the joint, especially the big joints, you get blood collecting there because someone is bleeding in there. And of course, because they are moving, they are not aware, sometimes they will present without knowing that actually they are bleeding. They will just present discomfort in the knees, swelling, then the heat in the knees, only to check this blood. And if it is not treated early, that blood starts accumulating in there, and where blood is, the natural organization of tissues start happening. you start getting deformities in there in the knees. And then the knee, because the way God made the knees, it's not supposed to have solids inside. It's supposed to have clear liquid in there for lubrication, like gel, you know, to lubricate, so that you can flex, you can move that without causing friction. But now you get this blood inside that is, even if it is reducing, and then you start what we call in pathology organization. Organization, the tissues, the fibers start growing in there. Now you start getting serious friction in there, start getting constant pain there. Now the cartilage that covers your knees, your joints become rough because now there are other things in there. And now friction starts, and because of friction, it starts getting eroded. Your knee joints, your surface, the surface become no longer smooth and free movement. Then you start getting problems of walking because the articular surfaces, that smooth. All of you eat meat. Even if you are not an anatomist, you know. When you cut the bone here, when you are cooking, don't you see the leg here very smooth with a white cartilage, very smooth. But in this case now, the smoothness goes away. And then you get deformity in the joints. And that's where the issues begin. And someone really gets problems.
Ku Sande ejja tukuleetera ekitundu ekyokubiri ku bulwadde bwa hemophilia ng'abantu abalala bakunyumiza bwe kibasumbuye, engeri gye bakijjanjabyemu n'obubonero kw'olabira obulwadde buno.